welcome. Thank you. My name is Kiera Louise Douglas, and I'll be your host today here on Earth Heroes TV, a conscious media platform. And today we have the beautiful and incredible Christine. Her passion is about inspiring others to find the courage to live a life that is authentic, free, embodied, and really vibrant. Her experience and skills as a Reiki Master, a past life and soul regression therapist, and a shamanic practitioner. She's a teacher, mentor, entrepreneur, and international visual artist. And this gives her a really unique approach, and she offers a beautiful haven that I've had the pleasure to find peace in, to let go of any past wounds and connect with my true authentic self. So I'm really grateful for her as a healer and guide in my life, and look forward to our conversation. So thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Kiera. Beautiful to be with you today.
So I'm curious to know, we'll jump right in and ask what natural ways that you do to, what kind of natural things that you do to enhance your life to thrive?
Well, I had really the opportunity to embrace different practices that became really part of my daily life. So for me, every morning I connect with the earth, with my shamanic ancestors. I give myself Reiki, and then I'm ready to go in the world and help others when I'm working. Yeah, so I think it's really living in harmony and in rhythm with everything around me, and having a regular practice that is really nourishing my body, my soul, and really feels right. And yeah.
So beautiful. And I can feel that like clarity in your clear presence every time I'm in your energy or connecting with you. So it really goes to show in the space that you hold for yourself so that you can show up to hold space for others. And I'm really intrigued to hear and know what led you onto this healing journey, and what was the catalyst for your growth and transformation into moving into this space of your own practices, and then now holding space and teaching and mentoring others.
Yeah, there was, I think there were many signs even when I was little, and I had a bit of a complicated and challenging childhood. But there were really moments where I felt I was never alone. And all this developed by, allowing me to meet incredible people. And at one stage, I had this really very deep awakening. I think probably spirit was getting a bit impatient. It just happened that I was, I was living and working in Paris, not at all in the spiritual development at the time. I had a public relation and event management company, but I was always in the middle of even my clients. The people working with me were absolutely beautiful, and we had really a heart-to-heart connection. I was always joking that I loved my clients so much that I would work for them for free, which, and they were giving me their money, which is really great. But it was really very harmonious. It just happened that one morning, I basically fell on a magazine, opened it, and there was a double page about Sierra Leone, which is a small country in Africa on the western coast, and I was absolutely fascinated. I couldn't resist the call, so I said to my husband at the time, and that's where we are going in a few weeks for Christmas. And he looked at the page and said, "Yeah, it looks beautiful. Let's do it." And I didn't know that it was basically, the first really, really big call. So arriving in Freetown in Sierra Leone, it was just like incredible. It was just like a big, almost like if I was on a high. I couldn't really sleep normally. I felt so tuned in with the energy, with the people, with the earth. It was just like, I was overexcited and feeling so much energy. So yeah, we had 2 weeks there and I was in a state of really deep awakening. And when we came back in France, I was not fitting in my life anymore. So it took me a few years to really understand that it was not especially about Sierra Leone, but it was basically the earth, nature, the forest, the trees, all this incredible land that you have in Africa, like you have here in Australia, was resonating with me and telling me time to move. So yeah, I couldn't be in Paris anymore. And it was the beginning of a quest that brought me here and now.
Wow, that's really incredible. And it's like what I'm hearing is that deeper listening, where you're listening to the natural world all around you and how there's this interwoven connection with all the cycles that are playing a part. And if we choose to embrace them and move with it and adapt to what the call is in the frequency of your physical body, like you said, you had a awakening, and then when you went home you weren't feeling that resonance, and it was time to really take that quest and change and adapt and transform into the new evolution of space physically, but also internally.
Yeah, I couldn't live in Paris anymore. It was just like, I was not complete anymore. It was just like really my soul, my heart had felt such an absolutely exhilarating energy that I needed this to live. And I was really realizing that there was something, there was a big thing missing, and there was something more for me to discover from this connection with the land.
That's really beautiful, and it makes me think of the shamanic rituals that you like encompass and embody now, where everything that we do, we think, we feel, all encompasses and interweaves into what we live in our reality. And so like taking care of the earth and our own health and well-being as well, but how that all interweaves. I would love for you to share a little bit more on your shamanic rituals and practices that you do with honoring the earth and how to honor ourselves in that process with community.
Yeah, so I really think that we are really connected to the earth, even if many people lost this connection, and that we also need community. We need to be together, and that a lot of rituals that were and still are for indigenous people natural to gather together around a fire, to create a ritual for birth, for death, really brings some meaning to life. So yeah, when I bring people together for a fire ceremony or for a shamanic immersion, there is something magical happening, and everyone feels nourished, part of something bigger than themselves. It's really quite an amazing thing. It's almost like magical. So I really love bringing people together. That's really a big part of my commitment to the earth, to this life that I chose. And it's really understanding that everything we do resonates with the earth and with each other, that when we are together, we are amazingly powerful, and that each of us in a circle, when we do the Muneki, fire ceremony, each of us can benefit, but each of us can participate in weaving this incredible energy that then ripple everywhere and all around people around us and around the earth and the animals and everything present. So yeah, it's really for me, shamanic practice and Reiki, is actually very similar with different rites and the philosophy of Reiki and the philosophy of shamanism they resonate together, so for me it's not separate, it's the same.
Yeah. And like from my understanding from the practices that I've done with you and other people and experiences in my life experience, it's quite a energetic transmission. So it goes beyond
Is, yeah.
the physical of seeing the physicality. And yes, we sit in circle and we have ceremony, like you're saying, in ancient traditions. This is practices that go beyond into the indigenous times, and
Yes.
we come together in that physical sense to create harmony and unity, and honoring the directions and different things like that. But it's the energetics behind it, and it's the intention that is in that space as well.
Yeah, yeah. And as I said, the energetic beyond really ripples very far. So when I really believe that when we, I hold space for a ceremony here in Mumbai on the land, with people coming a bit from everywhere, we, the energy we send, the message we send to the world and to spirit goes, very far. And every one of us, last ceremony we were 34, every one of us then going back to our community brings this vibration. And, so yeah, there have been many studies about the effect of, gathering and meditation and all these things and on the planet. And I think the more of us do it and more people coming to, connecting with their energy, with their soul, they they really feel that it goes beyond. And I can see it, people coming for the first time, the next time they come with two friends or with their children or with their husband or wife, because they felt so good, so high, so connected to their soul path and to everything that they want to share.
And it's like that ripple effect, like you're talking about, where it's beyond that individual and it just expands out into every
Yes.
area, echoes into every area of our life, basically. I would really love to dive a little bit deeper into the shamanic practices of the Manaki and how you use different archetypes and how that plays a part with the elements and the directions and the archetypes, but specifically the archetypes with like the serpent and the jaguar and the hummingbird
Yes.
and eagle, and how
Yeah.
they have come about into specifically those types of archetypes and what they represent and why and how you weave them into your rituals.
Yes. So yeah, the Munekis are actually nine rites. Well, there are 10 rites, but there are 9 rites which I share with everyone. And then there is the 13th rite, which is the rite of the womb for women, though some men have asked me to receive it to heal, the feminine within them, and also to really heal difficult relationship in the past with their mother or grandmother or spouse.
And the men
So
have
yeah,
like an energy for it as well, don't they?
yes, yeah,
They may not have
exactly.
the
So yeah,
physical life, but yeah.
yeah. So this rites come from the Andes tradition, and from Peru and all the Amazon forest. And they have been shared with us because the medicine men and women from Peru and the Andes had this really clear vision that everything difficult happening in the world at the moment, the way the earth is abused and everything, was coming from the Western world, that we had lost the plot in our civilization and that everything, is about money, not about living in Aini, which in the Quechua language mean in collaboration, in harmony, which we should do. When we take something from the earth, we should give back. It's collaboration. It's not just greed and taking and destroying. So yeah, when I heard about this rite and how they had been shared by the medicine men and women to one man that I really admired as a spiritual teacher, and I had the pleasure to meet a couple of times for 2 weekends of deep shamanic immersion, Alberto Villoldo. When I read about the rite, I thought I need to receive them and I need to share them. And, I was already a spiritual teacher, Reiki Master, and I had done already quite a lot of shamanic work. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when I received the rite, they were just magical. They really resonated so much deeply with me. And I saw the change in my energy, the change in my vision, in my quest, in everything. And I started to share them immediately. So yeah, we work with different archetypes and it's not linear. So we always open sacred space by starting by the south and we move, clockwise. And each of the direction represents an archetype. And each archetype is here to help us to evolve. But it's not linear. So, even if we start at the south with serpent, which is really about our physical body, but also our day-to-day life, and also about healing the past and, embracing letting go, because letting go is part of the evolution. Like the snake, the serpent, has to change skin. We need to evolve, and sometimes we don't fit in our old life. Like me, I was not fitting anymore in a life I loved and in a place I loved before. Suddenly, it was too small. So yeah, it's really quite interesting. So that's serpent, and then you move to jaguar. So jaguar is really dear to my heart because jaguar is an archetype that helps us to live beyond fear. And I think a big plague of our world is fear. And that's what's used by, many people who want to manipulate human people. Living in fear is really not serving us at all. That's the first thing we need to really work on. So yeah, jaguar really teaches us to go beyond fear because jaguar doesn't have any predator. And jaguar can see through darkness. And so, yeah, I love the teaching of jaguar. And when I went to the Amazon forest and had, the deep honor to work with different tribes and shamans and received amazing initiation and gift, they didn't know each other, but they all gave me jaguar. They all told me jaguar is part of you. And I had incredible experience during ceremony with them. It was just absolutely incredible. So yeah, jaguar is really, it's a big part of me. So jaguar teaches us apart living without fear, also to connect and understand our emotions and our reactions. And that's a big part of my teaching, understanding that we have emotions, we have feeling, but we need to detach a bit from them and to become what I call the gentle observer. So our emotions are not running our life. They are here to be acknowledged. Yes, I have grief, I have sadness, I have been worrying, which is a bit of fear. I see it, I let it go. So it's a very important process. So it's really this evolution where we embrace our feelings, our emotions, we see them, we understand where they come from, but we don't need to be run by them. So that's jaguar, and also, of course, the connection to the forest, the connection to the trees, to the plant medicine, to the essential oils that are so dear to my heart, all these things, and all these things that many of us are still doing and probably were doing in their past life, working with plants and communicating with plants and trees. So that's jaguar. Then we move to hummingbird. Hummingbird is also the place of the north and the place of our ancestors. So it's really honoring anything that teaches us to, understand what our ancestors have learned. So really not starting from anew, but embracing knowledge and wanting to learn more, which is one of the big goals of life. I think when we stop being curious, when we stop wanting to learn, discovering new things, reading more books, well, it's almost like a death. We are here to learn and to evolve. So, it's very important. And it's really connecting, knowing that we don't start anew when we come on the earth, that there have been many ancestors that have been already thinking at all the big questions. Why we are here? Why did we choose this body, this life, these things that we look at obstacles, that can look also at gift and amazing, beautiful lessons. So yes, that's hummingbird, and also learning persistence and courage. Evolution doesn't happen in 1 second, and no one is going to fix you. You need to do the work. So that's the message of hummingbird and understanding the mind. And then we move to the east. So east is the archetype is eagle and condor. And eagle and condor are amazing big birds, and they take us above everything. So we realize that what was appearing yesterday as a big drama in our life, when we fly very high above, it's actually tiny. And so it's really, really understanding that we can have a different perception. We don't need to have our life run by our perception. We can change the mind, and we can get higher and get the messages from spirit, connecting with with our higher self, our guides, and basically evolve, looking at our life from another perspective and realizing that we are so much more than this body, this life, all these material things where we get so attached sometimes. So that's basically the archetype, and also there are the 3 archetypes that are the guardian of the different world, because in shamanism we always explore our day-to-day life, but also to help heal the past and manifest the future, becoming the hero of our own journey. We go through the lower world, where we can do soul retrieval, journeying, meeting some of our guides, and go through the Garden of Eden to heal, and then we can travel through the upper world and meet our celestial parents and basically start visioning the life we want to create. So it's really beautiful, complex, life-changing, and I love giving the right. I give them individually because it's a process. It's a process which is going to be very different for each person. And before this right were given on during years. Now the shaman and the ancestors, from the Andes have told us it's okay to give because the world needs light workers and people awaken. So it's okay to give the Muneki at the rhythm of each receiver, weekly or fortnightly or monthly. But we need to take the time because it's a process of initiation and evolution.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really powerful. Thank you for sharing all that wisdom around the archetypes and how I really see them as kind of anchors and guides within our life, where we can see the symbolism of the physical animal, but also in the metaphysical, and how we can continuously cycle and move through these different phases, but knowing at the core that it's all returning us back to that unconditional love. That's what the jaguar kind of feels like when you were talking then. It was like the jaguar is just all love because it's facing and giving that frequency of love, and that's what it's bringing it all back to, I feel. And with those, the upper realms and the lower gardens of different worlds, I'm intrigued how it connects with the work that you do in past life regression, because you're healing the past while also moving forwards, envisioning the future. So how does the past life regression modality work I can see how it could really synchronicity relate to this earth keeping and creating this harmony on our planet through our visioning to move forwards to create heaven on earth. But yeah, would you like to share more on that?
Yeah. So it really does relate very deeply because, in shamanism, we talk about eight chakra, which is called the Viracocha or soul chakra. And actually, our soul chakra keeps an imprint of everything which has happened to us in a life. And when we die, it's this soul chakra, this Viracocha, that is going to travel to the realm of the soul. So basically, when we die and we have a lot of imprint, we have a lot of trauma, a lot of things that has happened to us on every level, physical, mental, emotional, we go to the realm of the soul with this imprint. And when we come in a life, we bring them with us. So in past life regression, we are able to visit past lives that are going to, a past life that is going to help us basically to clear this imprint. So, an example, I had people asking me to do a past life, actually just at the beginning by curiosity, because they were on a spiritual path. And I remember one of these beautiful ladies who is a psychologist telling me, I'm really curious and I might want to learn actually to be a practitioner. But one of the things I would like to explore is why, men look at me like a good friend, like a good mate, but never like, someone they would like to seduce. That was her question. And when we did the past life, the answer was so clear. Part of the past life, it was a beautiful past life where she was in the 18th centuries, a woman in a family of several girls. And at one stage, she was the eldest, and at one stage, her dad wanted her to marry a doctor much older than her. But she was secretly in love with someone else, and she didn't want to marry this older man, such a classical story of women at the time. And so she refused, and she was sent into a convent, to think, but she decided to become a nun. So basically, she had died sad, having had to become a nun by opposition to stay true to herself. And she had died with this imprint. So her vibration in this present life was, don't touch me, because, I have made vows of chastity. So I'm not a woman you can approach. And the past life regression we did together was life-changing. Just in a couple of weeks, she was at the time at Sunshine Coast University. She sent me a text message saying, Christine, you won't believe what happened. I have been asked already twice for coffee by a lovely guy. And actually tonight, Saturday, we are going for dinner. So basically it changed her life. And today she's a psychologist, hypnotherapist, and she lives with a beautiful Italian man. So lots of things exist. We can, and it can be also physical things or anxiety, panic attack, when you die, really in brutally, you can still have this vibration. I had people who had been killed. I had a woman, she had been killed very young, actually, as a teenager, running away because there were people attacking the village and burning the village where she was living. And when she was, basically fell on a tummy, and horses ran over her. So her spine had been broken by horses. And because she was, running fearful and died in this way, she came back on this world with panic attack and a pain in the back that no one could explain.
Whoa.
Quite amazing.
That is amazing. And it's
Yeah,
really, really incredible that you can go and, you know, transcend these really traumatic experiences and karmic inheritance that just happened before us that sometimes
yes.
we don't even realize are happening because they're in past life experiences. And I would really love to hear what your process is in around in the way that, like, do you get visuals and it comes clearly to you, or things fall through and you can see their
No, well, actually, past life, past life is fascinating also for the people doing it because it doesn't come from me. The vision comes from them, and I'm the guide. I take them through, deep hypnotherapy where they are still conscious and can talk to me, and then I guide them to go back in time through first few memories, few time in their childhood before the birth in the womb, which is a very powerful time too, where often, people as a soul in the belly of their mom know what they came to learn. So it's quite magical. It doesn't happen all the time, but quite often people know why they came and why they chose this mother, this family. And then we ask to be shown a past life relevant to their questions. So that's the process. So I guide them, explain to me what happened, and I ask question, and I guide them through different moments, to understand who were their parents and what happened in their life, and what was their way of living, their relationship, and we go. So the process lasts for around 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, and then we really go through the moment where they die, leave the body, and that's an amazing moment because you can clear imprint, what's left in the body, which energy, which physical trauma are you keeping with you. And then you move to the mental, the emotional, which patterns, which belief are you taking with you, and then we ascend to the real member soul, and that's a very deep moment where we can heal, receive healing, heal the past, let go of karmic inheritance, sometimes heal even our parents. Yeah, so it's really quite magical and very complete. And very often when people leave after the 3 hours of deep connection with their soul, because it's a soul journey, they I ask them to write about their experience, and very often I get messages saying, wow, it's incredible, I have suddenly such an understanding of who I am and why I came in this life. It just changes the perspective, and also it just erases the fear of dying, because
Yeah.
you know that you are more than this life, more than this body, and that even the people, your soul family, your partner, your children, your parents, everyone around you, very often you had them before in your life. Like in one of my past life, my eldest daughter was my mom.
Mm.
And and I know I haven't discovered completely everything about my youngest one, but I know we had many lives before as well. The father of my children, who is really a soulmate, even if we don't live together anymore. But I
Yeah.
know we had more than 24 lives together.
Wow.
And I have explored some of them. So it really changes
Mm.
completely your vision of death and your relationship with people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
Yes.
a fantastic journey, and so I work as a practitioner, but also I work also as a teacher. So I train people who are already practitioner or want to help others to become a past life therapy practitioner themselves. And yeah, the next course will be next year now. So yeah, it's really yeah. I think everything I do, and everything came together synchronicity. It's really not a mental, it's not from my mind, but everything I do really work together. And it's only now, because you do things intuitively. I work a lot intuitively, and you read a book, you already do a bit of shamanism practice, and you read a book and you say, oh, the Muneki, I really want to receive them, and I really want to meet Alberto Villoldo and his wife Marcella, and it happens. It happens. You receive an email and someone near to you is giving the Muneki right, and it's as amazing, even more amazing that you thought. And then I remember arriving in Paris to where I work normally before COVID time, to work, and receiving an email from Alberto Villoldo school saying that they had decided to come and do a shamanic immersion in Switzerland, and I was in France, so I was able to attend, and that was the only weekend I had free. I couldn't resist. So we met, and 2 years later it happened again. So twice I had the pleasure to work with him and to receive directly some, receive again some of the Muneki and do fire ceremony with him, and beautiful shamans from Peru, and and then there was this amazing trip in the Amazon. So everything just, when you're in tune to your with your thing, like so I think that's really why everything is working together, because it's just like there is something, someone, a bigger power above us that really works a bit like like managing an orchestra, bringing different instruments.
It's incredible.
It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring to witness you and hear your stories of how open you are to listening, as well as taking action into living in those synchrodestinies, that the messages come through and you listen, and then you move through that and take action in moving where it's calling you to go. So I really feel how it's like we're this bridge between heaven, of this divine spirit moving us, but also this bridge between heaven and earth, and our role is to actually bring heaven on earth. And I would love to wrap up this conversation with a final question of what you see for the future and for our world in the future, and how it could look like heaven and earth, and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, well, I really think that, these last few years, even if they were very challenging, so many people have awakened. I've seen it, even in my close friends, and also in the people coming to learn Reiki or to do shamanic journeying or to the ceremony. It's just like, and some young people, some children are absolutely amazing, really absolutely amazing. So I think that, this big movement created from people of all ages that are tuning into what our planet needs, all these people can bring heaven on earth. It's really about changing, everything, changing education, because education doesn't provide, qualities to become a human being. Education provides slaves at the moment that are going to obey to the system. And that's very wrong, So it's really going back to, what we call human values of respect, unconditional love, Aini collaboration with the earth and everyone around us. And and I really believe it can happen, and that we need to, keep being the light workers and gatherers, and that we are, to bring people all together, and to keep awakening people. And at one stage, the energy of the light will be, stronger than any darkness. So already many families, I know many young mothers, in their 20s to 40s, they don't send the children to school anymore. They teach their children. And that will make a big difference. So they don't want their system to be, broken, the system to break their children. And their children are amazing beings. So I think that's how the change will be, living in a more harmonious way, respecting the earth and everything living on earth, respecting the animals, stopping, really abusing anyone and everything, and just living bringing back for me. I need harmony, collaborations. That's heaven on earth.
Yeah, bringing that deeper sense of connection in all areas of life, with the earth, with each other, as we gather with ourselves. And like you shared, all of these experiences that are happening in the world are serving a greater lesson and greater wisdom, just like our past life experiences. They're all serving this important lesson for us to move forward and awaken and come into the heart and the love.
And really, also supporting each other, because lots of people, society has created a world we don't see it as much on the Sunshine Coast, but in cities I created a world where people are isolated. They go to work, they come back in their apartment, and there is no there is no place to meet apart, the shopping center, which is absolutely tragic. So it's really, by realizing that we create support and we can recreate connection and community, it changes everything. I have so many people coming to the fire ceremony that even here on the coast, are living alone. Many people who separated, lost a partner, just moved here, don't know anyone, people from all ages, basically, and or people different, teenagers coming to see me saying, I don't want to be at uni. I don't care about marketing. I don't want to sell anything. I just want to learn who I am. And that's that's fabulous. So support, and I love supporting this kind of people that start their journey.
Incredible. And if people want to come and join in and they live locally here on the coast or maybe online, where can they find you through your Living Inspired life?
Yes, well, they can find me on my website. It's livinginspired.com.au. Also on Facebook, Living Inspired, the Creative Path. Not on Instagram at the moment because my account has been hacked. So don't try to find me on Instagram. I will come back, but trying to solve the problem. It just happened yesterday. Basically through the website, sending me an email, contacting me by phone number. You're welcome to share my mobile if you want, Kiera.
Are you still there? Well, I just wanted to share
moving from there.
Incredible. Thank you so much. A deep gratitude, and thank you to all the listeners for tuning in to this wisdom that's being shared, and keep continuing to deepen that listening to the earth with each other and connecting, creating a harmony on our earth. So thank you for your time, Christine, and let's close it there.
Yes, thank you, Kiera.